यदा लंबोदरं हन्ति सदां प्रत्यूह संभवं तदा लंबे दयालंबं लंबोदरपदाम्बुजं शारदां शारदां भोजवदनां वदनाम्बुजे सर्वदा सर्वदास्माकं सन्निधिं सन्निधिं क्रियात्। नमस्तस्मै भगवते नारदाय महात्मने कामक्रोधविहीनाय ऋषीणां प्रवराय च। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। गोरक्षजालन्धरचर्पटाश्च अड्भङ्गकानीफमच्छिन्दराज्ञाः सौरङ्गिरेवाणकभर्तृसंज्ञां भूम्यां बभूवुर्नवनाथसिद्धाः। मालाकमण्डलुर्धक्कर्पद्मयुग्मैर्मध्यस्थिपाणियुगले डमरु त्रिशूले यस्यास्त ऊर्ध्वकर्योः शिवशङ्खचक्रे वन्दे तमस्त्रिवर्धं भुजषट्कयुक्तं। कैलासराणाश्वश्चन्द्रमौळी फणीन्द्रमाथा मुकुटी झळाळी कारुण्यसिन्धू भवदुःखहारी तुझवीण शंभो मजकोणतारी। जय जय रघुवीर समर्थ। गुरुराज माऊली गमाय माझी गुरुराज माऊली गमाय माझी वत्सालागी धेनू जैसी वत्सालागी धेनू जैसी तैसी मला माऊली गमाय माझी तैसी मला माऊली गमाय माझी गुरुराज माऊली गमाय माझी गुरुराज माऊली गमाय माझी। मज अंत पाहू नको त्वरित ये मज अंत पाहू नको मज अंत पाहू नको त्वरित ये उचलित पाऊली तू ये उचलित पाऊली ये उचलित पाऊली गमाय माझी ये उचलित पाऊली गमाय माझी गुरुराज माऊली गमाय माझी गुरुराज माऊली गमाय माझी। दास तुझा मी परिमळवितो दास तुझा मी परिमळवितो दास तुझा मी परिमळवितो दास तुझा मी परिमळवितो ओ दास तुझा मी परिमळवितो दास तुझा मी परिमळवितो दास तुझा मी परिमळवितो दास तुझा मी परिमळवितो। कृपेची सावली गमाय माझी गुरुराज माऊली गमाय माझी गुरुराज माऊली गमाय माझी गुरुराज माऊली गमाय माझी। बोला पुंडलिक वरदे हरी विठ्ठल। व्हॉट्स दॅट कम ऑन बोला पुंडलिक वरदे श्री ज्ञानदेव पंढरीनाथ महाराज की अवधूत चिंतन श्री गुरुदेव मंगलमूर्ती। वा सेट झालोय आपण सगळे आवाजाला ऑडिओला इज दॅट ओके? I would prefer to have this so that I can come downstairs and I can have an interaction with you. So हे नमनाचं पद झालं. कीर्तन सुरू होतं तेव्हा आधी गुरूंना वंदन केलं जातं. सो गुरु आलेत त्यामुळे आता पुढचं सगळं छान होईल अशी आपण आशा ठेवूया. माझ्या स्लाईडमधली पहिली स्लाईड इफ यू कॅन गेट. डोंट वरी, आय एम नॉट गोइंग टू ट्रबल यू विथ अ डिटेल्ड स्लाइड शो पॉइंटर्स आणि असं सगळं वाचून नाही दाखवणार मी, बट इट्स गोइंग टू बी अन इंटरेस्टिंग एक्सपिरियन्स फॉर यू. हाऊ मेनी ऑफ यू आर एक्सपिरियन्सिंग कीर्तन फॉर अ फर्स्ट टाइम? आय वॉन्ट असा हात वरती पाहिजे मला. कसा? असा अर्धवट नाही, शेजारच्याला उठवा झोपेतनं, वेक हिम अप or wake her up and show me a good hand. How many of you are experiencing it for the first time? Okay, good. Now, I don't consider watching a reel of Kirtan on Instagram as experiencing Kirtan, okay? ये तो क्या देखा Insta पे reel? No, that's not a Kirtan. Sitting there for 90 minutes and experiencing that art form is a different ball game altogether, okay? So, what the format is like, okay, it's similar to something that we do these days in BBA, MBA and all other programs. First there is theory and then there is a case study, practical, okay? Are you comfortable with this kind of a format? So 4-5 जण जागे आहेत बरं का. Are you? Yeah, are you all comfortable with this kind of like पहले होता है कि you see, I can speak Hindi, but if I start speaking Hindi, you will forget yours. So I can either stay in English. Okay, how many of you are absolutely comfortable in English? How many of you are willing to give up on your Hindi skills? आणि तुमच्यापैकी मराठी कोणाकोणाला समजत नाही त्यांनी हात वर करा. हा प्रश्न मी मराठीत विचारला बरं का. ओके, सो हा प्रश्न मी मराठीत विचारला की तुमच्यापैकी कोणाकोणाला मराठी येत नाही. सो इफ यू कुड मेक सेन्स आउट ऑफ इट, मी काय तुम्हाला इथे मराठीचा पेपर सोडवायला बोलवणार नाही आहे. आणि आता हे म्हणल्यानंतर सुद्धा ज्यांना मराठी समजत नाही ते हसले. सो सी, यू कॅन जस्ट मेक सेन्स आउट ऑफ दॅट, बिकॉज नाव इन NEP ऑल्सो more importance than German and French and Spanish and what not languages, more importance is being given to the local languages. Am I right? Yeah? Faculty members, NEP, am I right? Yeah? So, once in a while, in the interest to, in the interest of maintaining your chords with your Hindi, I might, क्योंकि क्या होता है, for those who know a bit of Marathi, they will understand the humor in this. मैं एक शादी में गया था. शादी से आने के बाद किसी ने मुझे पूछा हिंदी में, कैसे रही शादी, शादी कैसे रही? तो पता है मैंने जवाब क्या दिया? अच्छी रही. शादी होने के बाद नवरा ने नवरी को शादी होने के बाद नवरा ने नवरी को नाव लेके घास खिलाया. पांडुरंग हरि वासुदेव हरि, पांडुरंग हरि वासुदेव हरि. ओके, अभी हिंदी में जिसको घास कहते हैं वो घास लोग शादी होने के बाद खाते हैं. ओके, एनीवेज, ह्यूमर असाइड. So today the format is case study. पहले theory and then case study. So the theory, for theory we will be checking an Abhanga. How many of you have heard the name of Santa Tukaram Maharaj? Quite a few of you, all of you? Okay. So Santa Tukaram Maharaj used to stay very, nearby Pune, Dehu. How many of you have been to Dehu? Many of you? Okay, very nice. So is it okay if we interact in this manner? Yeah? Or all of you okay? 3-4 जण आहेत okay. Yeah, okay. So, see, if I don't get enough responses in such a format, I'll have to come there and I'll have to randomly make you guys stand up and speak. So, I hope, and you know what happens? Anyways, I'll tell it as we proceed. So, Santa Tukaram Maharaj used to stay in Dehu and he's written a lot of poetry. The form of poetry that he wrote is known as Abhanga in Marathi context. So we'll be checking one Abhanga, which will be relatable for us for the kind of, years that we'll be spending at the university for the next, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. If it's integrated, I think it's 5 years. Yeah, for whatever courses you'll be, for whatever time you're here, I'm sure it'll be helpful. सो आता अभंग तुकाराम महाराजांपेक्षा मी मोठा नसल्यामुळे त्यांनी ज्या भाषेत लिहिले त्या भाषेतच मला गाणं गरजेचं आहे. बट आय विल मेक शुअर यू अंडरस्टँड द जिस्ट ऑफ इट बाय explaining it into English. Is that okay? Yeah, okay. एका बीजा केला नास मग भोगिले कणीस. एका बीजा केला नास मग भोगिले कणीस. एक बीजा केला नास मग भोगिले कणीस. कळे सकळा हा भाव लहान थोरावरी जीव. कळे सकळा हा भाव लहान थोरावरी जीव. एका बीजा केला नास मग भोगिले कणीस. एका बीजा केला नास मग भोगिले कणीस. तुका म्हणे राणी राणी. तुका म्हणे राणी राणी जीव देता लाभ तुणी. तुका म्हणे राणी राणी जीव देता लाभ तुणी. तुका म्हणे राणी राणी जीव देता लाभ तुणी. एका बीजा केला नास मग भोगिले कणीस. एका बीजा केला नास मग भोगिले कणीस. मग भोगिले कणीस. मग भोगिले कणीस. बोला पुंडलिक वरदे. Okay, I'm going to put a competition now. Okay, there's a competition between this group, and that group. When I come here, I want the sound to go up over here, and when I go there, I want you guys to compete. Okay? बोला पुंडलिक वरदे. श्री ज्ञानदेव पंढरीनाथ महाराज की. अवधूत चिंतन श्री पंढरीनाथ महाराज की. Now all of us together. छत्रपती शिवाजी महाराज की. जय भवानी. वाह, आता कसं मजा आली. मजा आया. मजा आया. और ये जो मजा है ये मैं सबको देना चाहता हूँ. Okay. Anyways, is it okay if we have such reel oriented content once in a while? Yeah, because that will keep you awake, right? Yeah? Okay. How many of you believe that I have a full potential to put you to sleep? Now with such questions, people got confused. हाथ ऐसे गया और फिर ऐसे नीचे चला गया. Okay? Because they trusted my potential, but you also trusted your own potential that you won't go off to sleep. So first claps for all of you. So I have a habit of making you laugh and clap once in a while. Why? Because क्या होता है कि जब हम clap करते हैं या smile, when we laugh, जो सोए हुए रहते हैं उनको they wake up. वो ऐसे wake up and they also start clapping and they ask क्या हुआ? हाँ, और हम जो क्लैप कर रहे होते हैं हम बोले भाई मुझे भी नहीं पता, सब लोग क्लैप कर रहे हैं, मैं भी क्लैप कर रहा हूँ. ओके, सो हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू आर कंप्लीटली एक्टिव विथ मी? डू यू थिंक आई एम एंगेजिंग इनफ? ओके, गुड. एम आई ऑडिबल टू ऑल ऑफ यू? यस. ओके, गुड. सो संत तुकाराम महाराज हैज रिटन दिस अभंग and he says eka bija kela nasa maga bhogile kanisa. Now what bij means, can any one of you tell me? Seed. So when I say that eka bija kela nasa, what is he meaning? And I am giving up on a seed. Maga bhogile kanisa. I give up on one seed and what do I get in return? I get a full corn. Now, if I am willing to give up that seed, I can get a full crop of corn. If I am able to give up on those seeds, I'll be getting full crop of corn. But for us as human beings, it's very difficult for us to give up on that seed. Am I right? Yeah, if I tell you, you are having a good plan with your friends to go for a party, and I tell you, यार party को मत जाओ, चलो कीर्तन के लिए जाते हैं. What will happen? Or if I tell you, why are you going for a party? Come sit, let's, study something. What will you say? Arey yaar, I want to go and I want to meet my friends. All the Gen Z style. Yeah? So, if we are the full context of the theory that we'll be checking today is set on the premise, is set on the context that Eka bija kela nasa, I am willing to give up on one seed. Why? Because I am willing to have a full crop of corns. Is that a divine enough wisdom? ऐका ना तो माईकच्या ऐवजी पांघरुणं द्या सगळ्यांना. Okay, get pillows and blankets for everyone. Okay, is that a divine enough wisdom to start with? Yes. Now try to imagine, he is not saying this today after having a kick AWS prompt to ChatGPT. Okay. He is speaking this 450 years ago. How many of you have been to Crossword? Crossword? Okay, how many of you know that something like books exist? Okay, how many of you? ठीक से हाथ ऊपर करो. Yeah? All of you know books exist? Yeah? Yeah, okay, good, thank you. And where do we need to go to buy them? To the bookstores? Yeah, to Amazon. And when we go for an online purchase or to the bookstores, do you know that we have to actually go, and if we want a certain book, we go in a certain category. What are the categories? Spiritual, fiction, non-fiction, self-help, biographies. Huh? Okay, tales, that's fairy tales is fiction. Anything else? Business, motivation. Okay. So, essentially, if we want to buy a book, there are different categories, there are different shelves with different sections. Am I right in saying this? Yes. Now, when we go to Crossword, if an author has written a certain book for a certain section, a self-help author, you might hardly find him having authored something in fiction, right? Fiction authors are different, self-help authors are different, non-fiction authors are different, management authors are different, biography authors are different. Am I right? Try to understand, Sant Tukaram Maharaj has written 4,500 abhangas approximately, and they cover all these categories. Okay? And he's done this without giving any prompt to any AI model, and he's done it 450 years back. When to write the next word, you had to put the jala boru manta na. They had to put that into the ink and then come and then write, So is it good enough work? Yes? Is it good enough work? What's happened these days? So what? So some of us, who admired, started clapping, and many of us, so what? तू बजा ताली, मैं नहीं बजाऊंगा. संत तुकाराम हुए तो क्या हुआ? हाँ? मुझे कौन सी शादी करनी है? Huh? Okay. Anyways, so that's the basic premise where we start. So, in order to explore it, we'll just be, exploring it in a very crisp manner, because what's more interesting is the story that I'm going to tell you. Okay. But before that, I want to ask you, how many of you want to start your own business? Okay. How many of you wish to get employed and you wish to, work for someone I mean a job, an employment. How many of you wish to get into an employment? Okay. क्या डिस्कस कर रहे हो क्या? Okay. How many of you wish to make a career in sports? Nice. Okay. How many of you wish to make a career in arts? Okay. So congratulations, sir. And whatever efforts you are making, beyond some really aspirational souls that we have today, we have a good amount of people who are aspiring to be housewives and house husbands. Okay, because उनको business नहीं करना है, उनको job नहीं करना है, उनको sports में नहीं जाना है, हाँ, उनको art में career नहीं करना है. मैं क्यों करूं? हाँ, बाप है मेरा, कमा के रखा है. Yeah. So if you're not putting your hand up, that's mean you're aspiring to be a housewife or a house husband. So let me ask that. How many of you wish to be a homemaker? That's also not bad. Yes. Okay, 1, 2. Good. Can we clap for him? Now, I want all the aspirational ladies to have a look at him. Okay? Anyways, let me ask again. Because, if you want me to be relevant to you, I don't know how many of you were attentive when I was introduced. But this is not the only thing I do. I am Calcutta alumnus. Is it a good enough achievement? Yes? Yes? Okay. Okay. I recently authored my 13th book and published it. Is it a good enough achievement? I am on the panel to design and approve the syllabus according to industry needs under NEP for BBA and MBA programs. Is that a good enough achievement? Yeah. 11 of my books have been recommended for MBA programs in 3 universities. Savitribai Phule Pune University, Anna University, Chennai, and Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam University, Lucknow. Is that a good enough achievement? So, I don't like to speak about myself, but I've been trying a lot to invite your involvement in what I'm speaking. If you don't get involved, I am not going to lose anything. But if you, respond and if you interact with me, there might be a possibility that you might gain something. Am I making sense? So can I expect a better involvement from all of you? Yes? Is that good enough? Yeah? Okay. Only a few of you are saying yes. So let's move ahead with you guys. So, when he says this, Eka bija kela nasa, maga bhogile kanisa, we need to set a context for what that kanis is for us, what that crop of corn is for us. Okay. Now, if you want to get into business, the definition of crop would be different for you. It might be profits, it might be margins, it might be your market cap, it might be how you would like to establish yourself. If it's about getting into employment, it would be completely different. If it is into sports, it might be completely different. And if it is into arts, it will be completely different. So now, I want 5 answers from all of you. I mean, just the first 5 of you. If success has such a contextual aspect, what is success? What is success? Anyone? Yes? Comfort. Okay, success is comfort. Okay. So abhi main yahan so jaun, I am successful. Okay, great. Can you be a bit louder? So to be happy and satisfied is success. Okay. Someone called me from there. Yes, please. Manifestation of our goals. And what if we never achieve them? So the process of manifestation is success. Okay? Yes? Okay. Nice. So when your signature converts into an autograph, that's success. Okay? Yes? Achievements, okay? Calmness after achievement, okay? Yes? A lot of money. Wow, okay. End the miseries of life, okay? So end the miseries of life is success. Anybody else would like to contribute? Yes? Luxury lifestyle, okay. Putting the efforts is success, okay. Yes? When a passion changes into paycheck, it's success, okay. Yes? Okay, what? Okay. Okay, nice. Okay. Anyone else from this side, this bay? No? Yes? It differs from person to person. Can we have a big round of applause? I mean, not just for him. But for everyone. Because that pretty much sums up that all the answers that you gave were right. There's no wrong answer in it. Right? The only thing is that it has to have a certain vibe and a certain undercurrent of ethics and morality, and that we are not, hurting anyone out of it. Am I making sense? My definition of success is not killing anyone. Otherwise, can I say not doctor, but Ajmal Kasab was successful. Shall I say that? He took an effort, he manifested, he did everything. In his assignment, he may have been successful, but the world will not look at him as a success. Making sense? Making sense? Right? Okay. So now, just the way we saw an Abhanga of Tukaram Maharaj, in order to decode this definition, how do we define success? Because agar goal hi nahi hai, then how do we decide what I have to give up on? Right? Do I say I have to give up on these 2 years just here and 3 years and just study? No. Because if you just become a bookworm and you don't have any damn idea of what's going around in the world, or if you just have an interaction with 47 AI models, but you're not aware about the basic instinct of the industry and the pulse that goes in, which the AI does not understand, you would still be a failure, right? Right? Yes, no, yes. So in that sense, we need to check how do we define that success. And for that, just when Tukaram Maharaj was there, just around that time there was one more saint. And his name was Samartha Ramdas Swami. How many of you have heard his name? Okay, for the ones who have not, he was also a Santa Mantat. There's a big difference between Santa and saint. Okay, Santa cannot really translate to saint, but let us, falling short of words, let us say he was a saint from Maharashtra again around the same time period. And he has written something very divine, which is called Manache Shlok. How many of you are aware of it? Okay, these are 205 shlokas, पण नाही म्हणायला पाहिजे. Shlok आहेत. They are 205. And they are instructions to the mind. Okay. Today there's a big buzz about mental health. But here we have someone who's written about mental health 400, 450 years ago, back. Okay. So he has written a very nice shlok. So I'll be singing it. Is it okay? Do I have a decent voice? Or yeah? Okay. देह त्यागिता कीर्ति मागे उरावी, देह त्यागिता कीर्ति मागे उरावी, मना सज्जना हेची क्रिया धरावी, मना सज्जना हेची क्रिया धरावी, देह त्यागिता कीर्ति मागे उरावी. मना चंदनाचे परित्वाजे जावे, मना चंदनाचे परित्वाजे जावे, परी अंतरी सज्जना निववावे, परी अंतरी सज्जना निववावे, देह त्यागिता कीर्ती मागे उरावी, देह त्यागिता कीर्ती मागे उरावी, देह त्यागिता कीर्ती मागे उरावी, मागे उरावी, मागे उरावी. बोला पुंडलिक वरदे हरी विठ्ठल. Okay, so what he intends to tell us is, you choose any bottom line for success, any definition for success, the bottom line of it should come to dehe tyagita kirti mage uravi. Okay, so what does that mean? Dehe is my body. When my soul leaves my body, kirti mage uravi, people should speak good about me. I should leave a lasting impact when I'm gone. Okay? Is that also a good enough bottom line for success? Yes? How many of you believe? Yes? Okay. Now he is given a formula to do that. Dehe tyagita kirti mage uravi. So when I leave my body, people should speak good about me. And how will that happen? Mana sajjana hechi kriya dharavi. What is kriya? Kriya is action. So take actions, take your efforts in such a manner that when your soul leaves your body, you would leave a lasting impact on people so that they speak good about you. Is that a good enough bottom line for the definition? Yes. So all he is asking us is to be just a bit mindful about the kind of efforts that we are taking. And then he says, okay, you cannot just randomly take efforts. Let us give some context to those efforts. Is it okay if I share that context? How many of you are interested? Okay, great. So what he says, mana chandanache paritva jizave. Okay, how many of you are aware of this chandan? What is chandan? Sandalwood. And what is the speciality of sandalwood? Fragrance. Okay. How many of you have seen a sandalwood tree? How many of you have seen a sandalwood tree from this? इतना नजदीक से देखा है? Even if you know, आपने अपना नाक उस पे ऐसे क्या बोलते हैं, घासणेला काय म्हणतात हिंदीत, असं होतं माझं. Even if you rub your nose on that sandalwood tree, अब अगर आपने अपना नाक घासा भी, okay, so even if you do that, you won't get a smell. Why? Because the basic essence of sandalwood is it doesn't give fragrance unless and until it is rubbed with water on that other काय म्हणतो आपण, असं होतं बघा. Stone, it's a hard surface. How many of you have seen that happen? Almost all of you. You cannot, आप वो ले लो, आपको उतना अच्छा fragrance नहीं आएगा. Basic आपको समझ में आएगा, this is sandalwood. But when you do that, the real fragrance comes in. Now, what Samarth Ramdas Swami is telling us is mana chandanache paritva jizave. So when you are taking any effort, make sure that your effort is leaving some fragrance. Makes sense? If we just have a brief reflection and introspection, many times we realize, forget fragrance, 80% of my life is just giving odor and taking odor of people around me. How many of you are aware of the difference between odor and fragrance? Yes? So, odor is not that good. Yeah, it's very foul. Okay? And when we go in the washroom in the morning, the square packet that's kept over there is meant for fragrance. And everything else that's happening is odor, right? Panduranga Hari Vasudeva Hari, Panduranga Hari Vasudeva Hari. Now, he says make sure your efforts are leaving lasting fragrance. Okay? And now how will that happen? How will that happen? Mana chandana se paritva jizave, pari antari sajjana nivavave. How many of you are absolutely comfortable with Marathi? Please put your hands up. Okay, now there's a exam for you. Pariksha hai tumchi. What's the meaning of nivne? Nivavave. What does nivne mean? पूर्णपणे त्याच्या okay. I'll give you, because in the interest of time, I'll tell you the meaning. What nivne means. How many of you have seen milk boil up and you know that how it starts dancing and coming up? Yeah? Now, our moms have told us, कि यार ध्यान दो उसके, and every time, you know, she tells us we forget. Right? And then we are like becoming Milkha Singh. We switch off that. And then what happens to that milk? It settles down. Now try to understand, it's not just settling down, it's getting transformed. What's happening? There's a transformation that's happening. While the milk settles down after it's boiled enough, it gives birth to a layer. आता ज्याला मराठीत साय म्हणतात. मी मगासपासून डोक्यात विचार करतोय हिंदीमध्ये काय म्हणतात. Okay, all of you got what I want to say? Yeah? So, while it settles down, it's creating something, a top layer on it. And when we use it wisely, we get so many products out of it. What are they? Butter, ghee, buttermilk, loni, dahi, toop. Getting it? Now what's happened is, what has actually triggered it? Just the process of getting cooled down has given birth to so many different things. Now what he says, that your efforts should be such that whoever is facing any kind of a distortion in their life should calm down and settle down in such a manner that the transformation gives birth to so many divine things which again have a certain utility. Now, is that a good enough definition to define success? Yes? Now let us just look at it. Dehe tyagita kirti mage uravi. When I pass away, people should be speaking good about me. When will that happen? Mana sajjana hechi kriya dharavi. Take that effort. Like what? Like the sandalwood. Mana chandana se paritva jizave. Take your efforts like a sandalwood which is leaving fragrance. Pari antari sajjana nivavave. People who are good, make sure that when they are facing certain distortions in their life, your prayer presence makes a positive impact on their lives. Now why has he used the word sajjan over there? Because you need not be good to sajjans, right? Who are not sajjans, right? If people are coming here and doing some nonsense, Operation Sindoor has to happen, right? It is also a service to the sajjans. And why I am saying this is because Sir was an ex-army man. And I've seen what has happened in the last 2 days through YouTube Live. And I've heard Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's name a couple of times from many speakers. Am I right? Yes? And hence, is it okay if we move to some military examples once in a while? How many of you are very fond of army examples? Okay, good. So, there were many things that I wanted to share about this. But just one last thing. Because if there's not much music in Kirtan, it will not, establish, it will not flourish. So, I'll be singing one small, याला दिंडी म्हणतात कीर्तनामध्ये. कीर्तनामध्ये दिंडी, ओवी, आर्या, साखी असे वेगवेगळे प्रकार असतात गाण्याचे. त्याच्यातला हा दिंडी आहे. In very short span I'll explain what it means and then निवडिलेल्या क्षेत्रात श्रेष्ठ व्हावे, कीर्ती रूपी अस्तित्व सिद्ध व्हावे, प्रसिद्धीची ती हाव नको फार, प्रसिद्धीची ती हाव नको फार, मात्र कीर्तीला मानितात थोर, मात्र कीर्तीला मानितात थोर. Now, this is very important, so I am saying this. There are two things, prasiddhi and kirti. So when I pass away, still people speak good about me, and that would be prasiddhi also, right? For prasiddhi, you can put up all these hoardings. You can put up Instagram reels, get viral overnight. Ishara coffee. Yeah, he has become famous, right? He has become famous. I just wonder what would happen if I have that kind of a hairstyle, man. Yeah. वाघ भुकलं म्हणून कुत्र्याला पण भुकायची गरज नसतो. समझने वाले को इशारा कॉफी. Okay? Now I'll say समझने वाले को and you will have to say and with that style, okay? All of you. Yeah? Anybody of you would like to make this reel? समझने वाले को. Great. Are you having a good time? Yes. Is it being enriching enough? Enriching means you also get to learn something, at the same time it's also entertaining enough. Are you having that feeling? Yes? Good. Okay. So, that guy has got prasiddhi. He has become famous. Instagram and social media will make you famous does not mean when you pass away people will still speak good about you. Recently, there was one YouTuber who went on another podcast and spoke something which was not good enough. He became famous. He was already famous. Even people who didn't know him started knowing him because of that misstatement. People knew him, but do you think that statement left a good fragrance in the society? Are you getting my point? Are you getting my point? Even for the greatest influencers that you know are facing challenges that after 3 years, I don't know how I'll be relevant to my audience. Right? That does not happen to Kirti. Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj ki. I had to call for your participation, but when I said Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj ki, I got this. This is Kirti, which stays forever, which comes out of the fragrance of efforts of a person. Did you get my point? Yes? And with this, on that note, the first section, the theory aspect of the Kirtan is getting over, and now we will be moving to a very interesting story, which is a case study. And so when we end the Purva Ranga, the format of Kirtan is such, I'll have to sing just the first 2 charans of the Abhanga that we have taken of Tukaram Maharaj, and then we'll have to sing one bhajan. Is it okay? Would you like to participate? Yes, it will be simple. Yeah. एका बीजा केला नास मग भोगिले कणीस. एका बीजा केला नास मग भोगिले कणीस. एकळेस कळा हा भाव लहान थोरावरी जीव. कळेस कळा हा भाव लहान थोरावरी जीव. एका बीजा केला नास मग भोगिले कणीस. मग भोगिले कणीस. मग भोगिले कणीस. बोला पुंडलिक वरदे. श्री ज्ञानदेव पंढरीनाथ महाराज की. अवधूत चिंतन श्री छत्रपती शिवाजी महाराज की. आता भजन गायचंय. सगळ्यांना भजन माहिती आहे. रघुपती राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम. रघुपती राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम. रघुपती राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम. तुम्ही म्हणला नाही तर संध्याकाळपर्यंत असंच चालू राहणार आहे. राम पतित पावन सीताराम. रघुपती राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम. रघुपती राघव राजा राम पतित पावन सीताराम. बोला पुंडलिक वरदे हरी विठ्ठल श्री ज्ञानदेव तुकाराम पंढरीनाथ महाराज की. अवधूत चिंतन श्री गुरुदेव मंगलमूर्ती. Is it okay if I have some water? So now, we'll be moving, because the story that I'm going to share has been one of the most transformative stories for Bharat. Okay? And which changed the complete course of how we as a nation established ourselves on the geopolitical platforms. How many of you are interested in geopolitics? Okay, good. How many of you would be interested in serving our nation in any or the other damn ways? And I want to tell you, it's not just UPSC, MPSC, defense, I mean Army, Navy, Air Force. That's not the only way we can support our nation, right? In COVID times, we saw how doctors were important, how police were important. Similarly, to buy S-400s, when could we buy S-400? When we had enough money? Simple answer. Okay, if I go, मैं अगर मर्सिडीज के शोरूम में जाऊंगा और मैं बोलूंगा मुझे एस क्लास चाहिए, वो बोलेगा पहले पैसे लेके आ. Right? So first I'll have to earn. So we could buy S-400s and we could have such a brilliant network of roads in our country only because there was money in the country. Am I making sense? Yes? Now whose responsibility is to generate that money? Forget taxpayers, even a person, जो कोई आंटी रहेगी जिसकी वड़ा पाव की गाड़ी रहेगी किसी big company के बाहर, and if she is generating income for herself, that's still better than she being, unemployed and not earning anything. Am I making sense? So, any effort that we are taking, any economic effort that we are taking in the nation is still service to the nation. Am I making sense? Right? So now, as we move ahead, this is the story which has been extremely a transformative, phase in our country. Okay? How many of you were born before 2000? Nobody? Okay, you guys, I know. 2000 to 2005. Okay, let me be specific. 2002 to 2007. Okay? After 2007. Okay? In 1997. Nobody. Okay, that's fine. So friends, can you see this? For the whoever is handling lights, can we just switch off these lights so that you can see this? Can you see me now? Yeah? Okay, when I go behind, you can switch them on. Okay? When I go behind, you can switch them on. So now, we'll be going in Rajasthan. Okay? Good enough? इतना क्या है उसमें? We started already discussing. कुछ दिख रहा है क्या? Okay. So now we'll be going in Rajasthan, and I'll just add the layers. It's the month of May. Okay. दोपहर के 12 बज चुके हैं. दोपहर के 12 बज चुके हैं. May. It's the month of May, and we are in Rajasthan. Can you imagine the kind of temperature that's? What would be it around? 45, 50? Yeah, it's scorching heat. You cannot see anybody on the road. And amidst that, there are still these two army officers who are walking from a road and just, sort of taking some signals. These two army officers are going from there and they are taking some signals in terms of whether it is the right time to say yes. Okay? Now, who are the neighbors of Rajasthan? Okay, that's a domestic neighbor. And who is an international neighbor of Rajasthan? It's Pakistan. So there has to be something which was, some covert operation going on. Because otherwise, in the month of May, दोपहर के 12 बजे जब कोई भी नहीं है बाहर, why would these two army officers be there, right? And just while they were, taking certain signals, they again looked back. एक ऐसे, you've seen the instrument which shows where the wind is flowing. Yes, red and white, उसको ऐसे रहते हैं. You've seen that. So they had a look at it. One of them was Major General Nataraj, and one of them was Major General Prithviraj. Okay. Major General Prithviraj looked at Nataraj and said, "The wind is not yet in our favor." And just while he said it, the wind dropped. They'd been waiting for this since the last 5 hours. These two army officers were waiting in such a scorching heat and waiting for the wind to settle down since how many hours? 5 hours. And finally the wind settled down. And just when the wind settled down, they looked at each other and said, "It's time to say yes." But Major General Prithviraj saw something in the air and he saw a few birds were flying and he said, "Wait." Because birds had been the basic inspiration for Major General Prithviraj to get into this domain. Why? It had been the main inspiration for him. Why? Because he always aspired to fly, but because he could not become a pilot, he had chosen this domain in defense and had become Major General Prithviraj. And because he couldn't fly, he had a soft heart to anyone who could fly. So when there were birds flying in the sky, he asked Nataraj to stop. In a while, the birds vanished. And just when the birds vanished, Major General Prithviraj and Major General Nataraj took out the walkie-talkies, pressed the buttons, and they asked, "Sierra ready? Bravo ready? Charlie ready?" The moment Prithviraj heard these words, "ready," his eyes got wet. Are you all with me? Does it sound like an interesting story? The moment he heard these words, "ready," his eyes got wet because the American satellites and all the satellites of the nations who were supporting Pakistan never wanted India to take this step. And what they had done is, I am going to tell you through a povada. How many of you have heard of povada before? उपग्रहांची नजर असे ती विघ्ने या कार्या, उपग्रहांची नजर असे ती विघ्ने या कार्या, धाडसे उभा पृथ्वीराजा, जी 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 जी. नक्षत्र जाणते होती, रात्रीत कार्य ते करती, वारा जेथे वाहती, रेती तेथे मांडती, निर्भीड साहसी असे योगी तो भूमीचा पुत्र, यशाच्या शिखरी होता शूर, जी 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 जी. I am just giving you a glimpse because we will be falling short of time otherwise. This is known as povada. Veer ras, because how many of you are from liberal arts? This is called as, povada is normally sung to give the veer ras. Veer is strength and power. Okay? So, the American satellites and all the satellites of the nation, of the countries who were supporting Pakistan, were having a very close eye on this particular section of Rajasthan, because they knew that India is going to take some action from Rajasthan. And what they'd done, they'd taken immense efforts to work at night and deviate the attention of these satellites to some other zones by establishing some activities over there. So the satellite positions had changed, and just when the positions got changed for 2 to 3 hours, they had taken efforts to establish their bases for this particular project, this particular mission. And so Prithviraj his eyes got wet when he heard this. In a while, Sierra said, ready. Bravo said, ready. Charlie said, ready. The moment they said ready, Prithviraj and Nataraj took out their walkie-talkies and said, release the whiskey. Show me the Taj Mahal. And wake up the Kumbhakaran. A few moments went in silence. And within no time there was a Dah! Again there was Dah! Dah! Immense blasts, shook the earth. There was a small town near that station. The name of that town was Khetolai. In Khetolai, there was a teacher who was teaching in the school, and they thought it was an earthquake, so they came out. All the students came out, thinking it was an earthquake. Try to imagine, even a few other countries expressed that mild earthquake shocks were felt in India, in Rajasthan area. Nobody could understand what it was. Until a few hours went, when a helicopter came over that site, when Major General Prithviraj and Nataraj, went there with their armies and checked what had exactly happened, what the exact damage was. And then, the then Prime Minister of India, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, took a press conference and declared, Jahir kariti yashasvi tharle Operation Shakti. Jahir kariti yashasvi tharle Operation Shakti. अणुशक्तीने शोभित झाली भारत माता ती. बॉम्ब सहाते चाचणी सया 3 सत्र असती. बॉम्ब सहाते चाचणी सया 3 सत्र असती. 5 बॉम्ब ते यशस्वी ठरले चाचणी थांबविती. 5 बॉम्ब ते यशस्वी ठरले चाचणी थांबविती. कौतुक करीती कौशल्याचे सर्व देश चकित. कौतुक करीती कौशल्याचे सर्व देश प्रथित, खरी नावे ती जाहीर होता तक्क सर्व होत, अहो खरी नावे ती जाहीर होता तक्क सर्व होत. काय घडलं होतं? You know what had happened? Atal Bihari Vajpayee came in front of the media and declared in May 1997 that between 11th of May and 13th of May of 1997, what had happened? India had tested its nuclear, India had become a nuclear equipped nation by testing 5 bombs in Pokhran. Okay. Now when everybody got surprised, so wake up the Kumbhakaran and release the whiskey and show me the Taj Mahal were all code words for the 3 compartments where the nuclear bombs were kept for testing. The first bomb was kept 40 feet below, the second one was 80 feet, and the third one was 120 feet below the soil. And through these 3 compartments they tested the nuclear, they conducted these nuclear tests and tried to understand. They did this entire effort within 80 days by fooling the international satellites. Okay. The capacity and power of those satellites was such that they could zoom in to that extent that they could see where the seconds hand of the watch in Major General Nataraj and Prithviraj's hand जो घड़ी पहना था उसका सेकंड का हैंड कहाँ था ये देखने की पावर वाले सैटेलाइट्स थे, डिफेंस सैटेलाइट्स, उनको फूल करके इन्होंने they'd done this. Can we clap for it? You can remove it. Switch off the lights. Okay? Now the time came to declare who was who. So Sierra was all the active scientists. Bravo was Bhabha Atomic Research Center, BARC. Are you aware of BARC? Yes? Then Bravo Charlie was ISRO. And Zoo was DRDO. Okay? And when they declared, this was the team, ISRO, DRDO, BARC, and all the active scientists came together to conduct these tests. And then came the time to declare who Major General Nataraj and Major General Prithviraj was. My friends, Major General Nataraj was Dr. R. Chidambaram, who was the head of ISRO. And I am sure you are smart enough to guess who Major General Prithviraj was. Who was he? Yes. Major General Prithviraj was none other than Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who was the head of DRDO. Can we do the least thing out of respect for him? So now because, yesterday I've heard and since you've started, I've seen that many times Dr. Kalam was referred to. And this prestigious university is being started by someone from defense background. I thought, it would be wise to share his story in a short, crisp manner with all of you. Is that okay? Yeah, I just have 15 minutes now. And I'm going to run through it because you also have a very engaging and very powerful pack session after me. And I also want you to enjoy that. So I won't be taking much time of yours so that it becomes late. Good enough? So Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, Operation Shakti, the nuclear testing, was not his first mission. Okay. We'd known him for Agni, Brahmos, Prithvi, Trishul, building up all these missiles. Which missile did you hear recently? Brahmos. And why do you think the American president had to do that shallow PR stunt to say that he mediated? And are you aware that this happened? Yes. That he established a truce. Okay, what's a truce? He settled the two nations which are at war. And why was that important? Why did he say that? It was because these are two nuclear nations. The two nuclear nations. Do you think if Bharat was not a nuclear nation, would we have had an upper hand? No. If we did not have BrahMos and S-400, would we have had an upper hand? No. We've been mentioning Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, but you were born when he was already a president of India. Who would tell me what was the tenure, since when till when was Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam the president of India? Within 30 seconds, without going to AI and Google. The clue is I asked you a specific range of years when you were born. He was president between 2002 and 2007. So just when you were born, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was the president of Bharat. So all these contributions have happened before that. Why? One more notable, contribution was building up the SLV-3, which is satellite launch vehicle. You know why this project was crucial? Is it okay if I just give you a brief of all the contributions that he's had? Because falling short of time, I'll just restrict myself. So India had a lot of capabilities in terms of building good satellites. But whenever India put up these satellites into space, they couldn't survive for more than 3 days and 30 days. And the maximum the satellites had stayed in space was for around 60 to 75 days. Okay? Now try to imagine that you have the greatest capability and ability in the world, but the vehicle is not good enough. Greatest satellites are being put up in vehicles which cannot put them in space in the right orbits. Is it a wastage of investment and efforts? Yes. Right? So was the vehicle important enough? Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam mentioned, I always wanted to become a pilot, but when I was, when I applied and when I went there, they just had an intake of 9 and I was the 10th person. So if anyone was medically unfit, I could have got a chance, but fortunately, unfortunately, everybody was medically fit. So he could not become a pilot. So he thought, why not build an aircraft instead, right? So he started building missiles, he started building satellite launch vehicles, and that was how he contributed to ISRO and DRDO. Okay? Now this satellite launch vehicle was so precise, SLV-3, you can see an entire documentary on SLV-3 and how Dr. Kalam, handled it. The satellites that SLV-3, this particular rocket, put into space, stayed in space for 600 days. Okay? If we compare it to 60 days, how many times is that? Again, can we do the least that we can do sitting on those chairs? Is the story interesting enough? Yes? Is it okay if you would like to see pictures, or if you want, I have another presentation also, जहाँ पे मैं आपको bullet points और सब लिख के पढ़ के बताऊंगा. No, you don't want that? Okay. Is this good enough? Right? Okay. So SLV3 was one of his major contributions, and for all these great contributions, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was granted Bharat Ratna. Now what is Bharat Ratna? Yes? It is the highest civilian award in Bharat. Okay? Bharat Ratna. Ratna is what? Jewel. So it is the highest civilian award which was granted to Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. And when he received Bharat Ratna, after all these contributions, he was in a government setup. He took a formal retirement and retired from his service to the government. And his passion always had been about a vision for India. Okay, and that vision had a very interesting nomenclature. I think many of you might be aware of it, India 2020. He'd also written a book on that. And how India can be a great nation by 2020. Now we are 5 years past that time. But the time when he had placed this vision was almost 20-25 years before, 20. So it was almost 5, 8, 10 years before you were born. And with that vision, he always knew that things could change our nation if we are able to change the youth, if we are able to inspire, if we are able to work with the youth. And so after retiring, he started teaching in Anna University. Okay, where is Anna University? Chennai. So he started teaching in Anna University, Chennai as a professor. Now many times, colleges have to make it compulsory for people to attend. The class that Abdul Kalam used to take had a batch size of 60, and the number of students who normally sat inside the class was 350. मैं खुद के मन से कुछ नहीं बोल रहा हूँ. Whatever I am speaking, every word can be verified. Everything is fact-based. Okay? There are records in Anna University, Chennai. Now, because my books are recommended in Anna University, I happened to be there in Anna University. And at that time, I had met the coordinators over there. Just to understand how it was like, Dr. Kalam standing in those classrooms and teaching. It still brings goosebumps to me. Try to imagine, who's coming in your classroom is Dr. Kalam. And you're having a direct interaction. 350 क्या 3,500 भर जाते भाई. True? Right? Now one day what happened? When he completed his session, उनका lecture खत्म हो गया. And then he was walking and he was going to the staff room. Now Anna University, you can just go to Google and you can check the kind of campus that Anna University has. He was walking from that road and he was going to his staff room, his cabin, and Dr. Kalanidhi, his colleague. What was the name of his colleague? Okay, for the ones who were sleeping until now, what was the name of his colleague? Dr. Kalanidhi. So Dr. Kalanidhi came rushing towards Dr. Abdul Kalam and he said, Doctor, you got a call from the PMO office. And we've told them that you'll find him in his cabin by 2 o'clock because his session gets over by 1:45. And he would not like us to disturb him. He said that even if anyone calls me when I'm with my students, don't come and disturb me. And the PMO understood that. Now why it was also crucial for Abdul Kalam at that time was because he was also the scientific advisor to the Prime Minister of India. So he didn't understand what's happened, what's wrong. Is there anything wrong that's happened and which is confidential enough? So he ran to his cabin. And by the way, if you happen to visit Chennai, do visit Anna University. And you can feel that vibe that Dr. Kalam, actually walked there and taught there. You can see his cabin. He walked to his cabin, he ran to his cabin, he sat there, and the phone rang. Dr. Kalam picked up the phone and it was the secretary to Prime Minister. And she said, sir, the PM would like to speak to you. The call was transferred, and there was Dr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee on the other side, who was the Prime Minister at that time. He asked, so Dr. Kalam, how's your vision for the students going on? बोले बहुत अच्छा चल रहा है, सिखा रहा हूँ बच्चों को, ये बच्चे आगे जाके हमारे देश का नाम रोशन करेंगे. And looking at the brightness of our kids, I have no tension, no worries that our nation will be a great nation one day. तो वो बोले कि आप ऐसे सिखाने में इंटरेस्ट है या और कुछ आप करना चाहोगे? Dr. Kalam said, anything which is a service to my nation, I would love to do that. So Mr. Vajpayee said, देखिए, मैं जो बोलने जा रहा हूं, वो अगर आपके मन में ना हो, तो आप कुछ मत बोलना, बस ना नहीं बोलना, क्योंकि आप ना बोलोगे तो हमारी मां का इंसल्ट हो जाएगा. Okay? If you say no, it will be insulting to our mother, which is Bharat Mata. Okay? Kalam said, sir, what's it? And Mr. Vajpayee said, we had a meeting today morning and all of us feel that you should be the president of our country. Now, Dr. Kalam was not sure whether he should really be a president because his passion was teaching. And if you see any of his interviews, before he got retired, he always said, when I retire, I want to teach. And he had zero interest in politics. But now, Mr. Vajpayee was also right. If it's no, then don't say no, because if you say no to becoming a president of India, it will be an insult to the nation. Okay? So at that particular point of time, Kalam said, just give me 2 hours. And in those 2 hours, he called many of his friends, industry tycoons, artists, people from various domains, and had a discussion, his relatives, his gurus. And when he had a discussion, he asked, what should I do? I want to focus on India Vision 2020 and I want to teach. And they said, Dr. Kalam, as a teacher, the kind of reach and impact that you can have is very minimal as compared to the nature of impact that you can have when you become the president of a country. And that was a convincing point for him. And when he got convinced out of it, when he got convinced for it, अटल वचन ते ऐकुनी दिल्लीस जाण्यास निगती त्या वेळा अटल वचन ते ऐकुनी दिल्लीस जाण्यास निगती त्या वेळा राष्ट्रपती पद मोठे घेती कलाम स्वराष्ट्र सेवेला रामा 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 हरे हरे रामा 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 सीतापते रामा 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 रघुत्तमा रामा रामा. He chose, he said yes, and he went. He took the flight to Delhi to become the President of India. Now I'll just rush because Mr. BSR is already here and he has been inspiring my generations as well. So I would really like all of you to give equal importance to his session. I'll just finish in 5 minutes, sir. Yeah? So Dr. Kalam became the President of India. And when there was the oath, I'll just tell 2 incidents. Kalam never asked for any favor, but when he became the President of India, he requested normally, there are 1,000 seats for the presidential oath-taking ceremony, but a person who's becoming a president, has an allocation of just 100 seats. Okay, just 100 seats. So Kalam requested for 50 more seats. This was the first time he had asked for a favor. And nobody could understand, why is he asking for 50 more seats? But people got zapped on the day of the presidential oath. Now, Dr. Kalam's speech of presidential oath is there on YouTube. Okay, you can watch this. You can confirm what I'm saying from that source. Now, how he allocated these seats? So he had an original allocation of 100 plus 50. Now there were 150. In the first 50, जो पहले 3 थे, उसमें उन्होंने जो रामेश्वरम where he belonged, वहाँ के मंदिर, मस्जिद और जो चर्च था, उनके जो धर्मगुरु असर, he called them. So these were 3. And then he called 12 gurus who had inspired him on the turning points of his life. So 12 plus 3 is what? 15. And then he asked, invited 35 of his relatives. So what does that count come to? 50. So now, very interestingly, how he allocated the remaining 100 seats was, he had asked for a campaign to be run across Bharat and had shortlisted 100 school students who were passionate about science and had a very high potential to perform. And these 100 students were invited for a presidential oath ceremony, and they were sitting between all these dignitaries to attend the presidential oath ceremony of the first scientist who became a president in the world. Inspiring enough? Yes? Now what happened after that was even more interesting. He had organized a special lunch with these kids. So when all the formalities were completed, he had lunch with these kids. And you know what he told them? He told them, friends, when I was studying, all my friends were also passionate about science. They thought, how they could take this ahead was through contributing it to their bank balances. So some of them settled outside the country. Some of them are in US, UK. Some of them actually started their own businesses. And I chose to give my passion for this nation. And I want you to understand that when I gave my passion for this nation made me the President of India. Is this an example of mana chandana se paritva jizave? Pari antari sajjana nivavave? What kind of an impact he would have had, right? So in his 5 years as the President of India, I'm not speaking anything from my own mind. These are verified records. He took 2,400 lectures. Okay. He met 1.75 crore students across India. These are verified numbers in Rashtrapati Bhavan. You can confirm that. Okay. He met and inspired 1.75 crore students across India. When he retired, he walked out just with 2 suitcases. That's a very well-known story. And when he walked out, he became a visiting faculty back in 55 colleges in India. Okay? In his total lifespan, he had authored 34 books. Okay? And just any random idea, because he was a doctor and he was not a medicinal doctor, so he was a PhD. हमारे पास एक PhD या 2 PhD मैं तो कर रहा हूँ, अभी हुआ नहीं हूँ, तो भी मुझ में ऐसे, I am having a bloated chest. Dr. Again, you can confirm there's an official website of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. You can go on that website and check the list. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam held 48 PhDs. And yet, whenever you looked at him, you could never feel कि आदमी इतना बड़ा रहेगा. Yeah? So I'll close on the last incident when he went to IIM Shillong, and on the way there was a commando standing on the gypsy which was in front of his convoy, and he said, I don't need that, people are not here to kill me, all of them like me very much. And he said, sir, it's not for you, it's for the nation. It's my duty, sir. And Kalam understood. When they reached IIM Shillong, Dr. Kalam told the commandos to settle down. I'll just come out in a while. He stood in front of the students at IIM Shillong, looked at everyone, and asked, how many of you love our nation? How many of you think by any small effort you make, if it holds enough fragrance, if it holds enough capacity to transform people around you, it can build, it can transform the reality of our nation? How many of you think that is possible? And then he asked, knowing that is fine, how many of you would really like to do something for our nation? And just when all the bright minds at IIT raised their hands, Dr. Kalam fell down. Just when all the hands went up, Dr. Kalam couldn't, his eyes got wet. He fell down. The moment Kalam fell down, people ran towards him. What happened, Dr. Kalam? Ambulance was called, the convoy was back in place. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was rushed into the ambulance. It was possibly a cardiac arrest. Dr. Kalam knew at that time, all that he wished for was to have the final call when he was with his students, when he was serving his nation, and he realized that this was that call. But he couldn't afford to miss on that final conversation with his mother, for whom he had, given his entire life. And just when he was being taken through the ambulance, and when he was passing through his last breaths, he might have felt, Bharat Mata, Bharat Mata, Gheha Antima Muzra, Antima Muzra, Ye to Maghara, Ye to Maghara, Tujha kushitaच विसावलो मी, तुझ्या कुशीतच विसावलो मी, ये मज प्रेम भरा, ये मज प्रेम भरा, भारत माता. And in this manner, the legend had his last breath. For all of you who thought that what Tukaram Maharaj said, Eka bija kela nasamaga bhogile kanisa, was false, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam gave up on the opportunity that he could have got abroad. he gave up on the opportunity of becoming an entrepreneur. And he became the president of our nation. Right? Even today, when Dr. Kalam is not around, when there was Operation Sindoor, we could survive and we could have an upper hand because we were a nuclear powered state, and the best performance was done by BrahMos, which was developed by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Even today, in a kirtan, which is considered to be a very Hindu oriented tradition, I am speaking to you about a person who is not from a Hindu tradition, and still it doesn't make any difference. And that, my dear friends, is Kirti and not Prasiddhi. Do you get it? So what I would urge you on this day of induction is, rather than moving behind being famous through those reels or short-term packets of being famous, let us do something more fruitful through our efforts, which will leave a fragrance and which will have a transformative effect on people around us. Can you assure me that? Can you assure me that? Yes? Do you think this session was enriching enough? For how many of you who were experiencing Kirtan for the first time, how was the experience for you guys? Good? Better? Nice? Okay. So just with the tradition of Kirtan, I'll just close with one charan of Abhanga and one small arti, because if you've noticed from there, there's an asan which is the Gadi, so I prayed for it. So I need to close it down by saying an arti, so I'll make sure it is crisp and small enough. एक बीजा केला नास मग भोगिले कणीस, एक बीजा केला नास मग भोगिले कणीस, तुका म्हणे रणी रणी जीव देतला भदुणी, तुका म्हणे रणी रणी जीव देतला भदुणी, एका बीजा केला नास मग भोगिले कणीस, मग भोगिले कणीस, मग भोगिले कणीस. आता आरतीसाठी कॅन आय जस्ट रिक्वेस्ट एव्हरी वन ऑफ यू टू स्टँड अप. हे चिदान देगा देवा तुझा विसरण व्हावा, गुण गाईन आवडीची माझे सर्व, लगे मुक्ती धन संपदा संत संग रे गासर, तुका म्हणे गर्भवासी सुखे घालावे आमासी, सुख करता दुःख हरता वार्ता विघ्नाची, पूर्वी पोळी प्रेम पाजयाची, सर्वांगी सुंदर शेंदुराची, कंठी झळे मान पापरांची, जय देव जय देव जय मंगलमूर्ती हो श्री मंगलमूर्ती, दर्शन मात्रे मन स्मरणे मात्रे मन कामना पूर्ती, जय देव जय देव. रत्न खचित परादेव गौरी चमरा, चंदनाची कुंकेशरा, हिरे जडित मडित शोभतो वरा, झुणते पुरे चरणी गागरिया, जय देव जय देव जय मंगलमूर्ती हो श्री मंगलमूर्ती, दर्शन मात्रे मन स्मरणे मात्रे मन कामना पूर्ती, जय देव जय देव. लंबोदर पीतांबर फणीवर वंदना, सरळ सोंड वक्रतुंड त्रिनयना, दास रामाचा वाचवा हे शरणा, संकटी पावावे निर्वाणी रक्षावे सुरवर वंदना, जय देव जय देव जय मंगलमूर्ती ओ श्री मंगलमूर्ती, दर्शन मात्रे मन कामना पूर्ती, जय देव. बोला पुंडलिक वरदे श्री ज्ञानदेव पंढरीनाथ महाराज की. अवधूत चिंतन श्री गुरुदेव मंगलमूर्ती छत्रपती शिवाजी महाराज की. जय भवानी.